Today, we're going to talk about a four-letter word, and it ain't the word. Next on Live Free and Ham. So, hello and welcome to Live Free and Ham podcast. This is our weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. And so we are thrilled to have you hang out here with us, whether you're a regular listener or maybe you're tuning in for the first time. And if you are, we thank you for joining us for this episode. And we hope you won't have to wash your ears out with soap after this one. So with that, let's get into the show. I'm your host, Eric, callsign N1JUR, and I'm with my co-hosts.
It's Paul, N1OG.
And Todd, W1STJ.
Very manly, deep voice there, Todd. All right. So, as always, before we get into our usual topic for tonight, we're always going to catch up on a few things because we know folks are always interested in what's going on with Live Free and Ham. Guys, as always, head over to our storefront at livefreeandham.com/stop, and you can pick up any one of our bit of new merchandise that we get out. We got a whole winter kind of series going on, and those few folks just recently picked up Tim C, again, KC1QDK, our first true fan to Live Free and Ham. He picked up Live Free and Ham classic beanie that Paul is wearing on this stream. And again, we thank you, Tim, for picking one up as always, and appreciate you supporting the show. And we also have Anthony Woodward. He picked up a 3-pack of our hammies. Now, those that don't know, we have our lovely hammies. And if you head over to Get Hammed, you can check out more on these little guys and what the whole purpose is. But, if you are a Jeep fan and Jeepers love the ducks, well, it's sort of similar, but it's way cooler. If you're a ham radio operator and you want to show some love to a bunch of other hams that have their antennas on their vehicles, you can now easily leave them a little token to say, hey, I see your cool 15 antennas on the top of your vehicle. May not know what everyone does, but ultimately it's a cool, and I recognize you, Mr. Ham Radio Operator, sir. So, you can always head over to Get Ham to pick those up. They're available, and, spread the ham radio love. So with that, did I tell you we all love feedback here at Live Free and Ham? We got a couple of ways you can contact us. You can always reach out via SMS, and that link is in the show notes of every show that we have. And if you click that link, you can always leave us a text message, and make sure you leave your call sign. For those of you that actually have left us, they forgot to leave their name, and we only know the last 4 digits of their phone number. So not too helpful there. But either way, we appreciate the feedback. And that's one way you can always reach out to us. The other way is we now have a voicemail number. You can finally realize that our lines are fully open and available 24/7, 7 days a week. You can now share your deepest thoughts. You can express your devoted love for the show. Or if you're so inclined, you can tell us that we need to renew our warranties on our HF radios. Whatever, we're here to listen. And that number to call is 978-233-1142. So don't wait any longer. And we always have volunteers standing by to take your message, just not us. Anyway, and the last way is to send us an email. For those that still use email as a form of non-emergency communication, you can send your feedback and questions over to livefreeandham@gmail.com. And our last 2 bits that we like to always let you guys and keep you updated on is we have a live stream every month, and this month is no different. So make sure, if you haven't headed over to our YouTube channel and become a subscriber, that you head over there and subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified, because sometimes we don't even know when we're going to do our live stream, and it's kind of one of those things that happens last minute. It's kind of our little surprise that we like to throw at everybody. So make sure that you're definitely part of that channel and you get notifications, and that way you can come and hang out with us and enjoy whatever might be going on for that live stream. And then lastly, if you are one of those guys or gals that like to be able to be in the know and like to have all of the dirty little secrets of all of those YouTubers and podcasters are out there, well, now you have the opportunity. You can head over to our Patreon page and you can check us out there and become a subscriber, and you'll get a couple of things. Obviously, you get all of the cool early notifications when we release new products or we do giveaways or whatever the case. But at the same time, if you want to hear our dirty laundry aired, so you want to hear all the uncut, raw, conversations that we have before we even press the record button, You can now be a part of that and check all that stuff out. And all of that's available to all of our Patreon members, as well as a ton of other cool stuff that we're always letting them know about as it kind of goes on. And you can join anytime. And so we'd love to have you a part of that if you definitely want to come be on the in squad there. So, all right. Well, if you've been diving into here, I mean, my gosh, my script's all over the map today. I have no idea what's going on here. So oh no, actually now I know why I put this in there. This is a special thing because this has kind of threw me a curve here. Well, if you've always been paying attention, and this is not so much of part of our regular stuff here, but you've been paying attention, that our ham radio is the hobby of 1,000 hobbies, and everything that we do encompasses and interweaves itself into other cooler hobbies. So as you all know, one of our great hosts here, Paul N1OG, has taken a significant step by pursuing a skydiving license. So he's going for his Class A. And so, as many of you are aware, we might have been alluding to how it'd be really cool. We should get a, GoFundMe going, and, how, and so forth and so on. And we've had a couple of listeners reach out to us and go, hey, how can I help support, that effort? Because we know that once Paul gets his Class A, two things are going to happen. One, we're going to have a hell of a lot more radio contacts from, aeronautical mobile there. And two, one of us, I don't know who it will be, might actually go tandem with them someday. I'm not saying who or why or when, but, one of us might. We'll see how it goes. But, we would be so lucky if one of our, tried and true Live Free and Ham hosts finally become Class A certified, and he's already jumping now because his video camera's disappearing. There we go. So you can head over now, and we'll make sure there's in the show notes of every show going forward. Is that link there, and you can always go over there and support Paul if you want to help him out get his Class A license. The GoFundMe link is in our description below, and it will be on our website as well, so you can go check that out. So share the love if you want to be part of that, and be, get Paul in the friendly skies quickly. And so, we could start getting some really good, video footage there. Then, that's how you can help support him there. And we appreciate everybody that's shown the support so far. And we thank you guys as always. All right. So now we get into our regular segments.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Everybody, we got some news.
Slow down, Boog. Let me handle this. We've got some news. I've got bad news and bad news.
I have reviewed ship's personnel, Captain.
Congratulations, you've got mail.
All right. Well, this is our usual review mailbag segment. Todd, take it away, sir. What we got? Hello, Todd. Anybody home?
Yeah.
Mailbox empty.
So the mailbox this week was empty. Nothing. Nada. Nothing.
Well, with that, we know, people get busy, but come on, guys. We want to hear from you. Todd loves doing this segment. I love hearing Todd do this segment. So, come on. Step up to the plate.
And I don't get to do the segment very often.
No.
I don't get a lot of news, so
No, definitely. When it is, we might have to make a whole show out of it because at the rate we keep getting it, we want to drag it on just to get the point driven home here. But yeah, come on, people. We know you got the stuff going on. You must love the show. We've heard people talk about Live Free and Ham. So come tell us how you really feel. Just introduce yourself. Come hang out. Whatever. So Todd actually has something to share with us because we want to hear your stories, and Todd wants to share it. So simple as that. Can I be any more nicer and polite?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we haven't made it until we get all the hate mail. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, exactly. Or we get the fembots or automated AI start sending us requests. Well, soon enough, man. Soon enough. All right. Well, with that, then let's kick into our next segment. I just shifted out of gears here.
Doing good. Good. Doing good.
You do, that's good.
Do good? Do good?
You're doing good.
Absolutely, I do. Good.
Doing good, Bob. Doing real good.
Right now, my only outlet is my ham radio.
Well, so before we dive into this segment, I just saw in our private back channel chat. Did you want to run the video anyway? Because I think it's a cool video for Todd's little segment.
Oh, no, the jingle is for the phone number.
Oh, for the phone number. Okay, well, you run for the phone number either way, man, my friend. Kick it off. This is produced by the one and only N1OG, and so if anybody's been on his regular channel, you'll know that he's got his own POTA country song that he plays continuously all the time. I'm beginning to looking for the single and the release eventually soon. So, he's produced something for us over here at Live Free and Ham for our jingle. So take it away, Mr. N1OG.
All right. If you didn't know which phone number to call, now you will.
Live free and ham, you know you can. Join the fun, be the biggest fan. Call that number and lend an ear. Live free and ham, it's crystal clear. From morning blues to midnight snack, they've got the scoop, never looking back. Stories, news, and quirky bits. It's the podcast that's full of hits. So live free and ham, you know you can. Join the fun, be the biggest fan. Call that number and lend an ear. Live free and ham, it's crystal clear.
Wow, that is awesome. I love that. That is totally awesome. Nice job, my friend. Nice job. And you, as our listeners, get to listen to that every episode going forward now. I don't care. I'm all for it.
And to get the full effect, go on YouTube and watch it. It's quite classic.
Totally. Well worth the effort. Well worth the effort. Nice job. Round of applause. I've got to get my applause key up here. Dang it. I'm way beyond. Oh, no, it's broken. There we go. Yeah, you beat me to it. There we go. It's apparently all my audio clips are all screwed up here today. I don't know. Whatever. It's all technical difficulties all around the house. All right. Well, with that, we'll dive back into our doing good. So whether you aspire to do good in ham radio, well, I shouldn't say whether you aspire. We all like to aspire to do good in ham radio. So whether you're assisting during a disaster, providing communications for that local road race that you see every year, or hosting a POTA meetup, we all love our ham radio activities. So however, sometimes we allow the negative voices to overshadow all of that enjoyment. So we're just going to raise our fist at this point and say, bring on the good deeds, my friend. No more will we allow the bad actors, the bad voices to take over our fun, especially in the ham radio. And so the way you can do that now is you can share a story with us over here at Live Free and Ham. We are giving you the floor, the podium, to be able to share, your first ham radio experience you might have had with a total stranger while you're maybe activating a park. Or maybe you were teaching a student or a family member or your neighbor about the coolness of ham radio, or you got to demonstrate to a new technician the thrills of HF at the next winter field day or summer field day, whatever. So we want to hear about it. Take pen to paper, send us an email. There are many ways to do that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate to you that we actually have folks that are sharing stories with us. So our fan base, our true dedicated fan base, has once again come to our rescue. Carlos, once again, man, he is an overachiever. He's brought another, doing good episode. So Carlos, those that might know him over at Life at Terminal Velocity, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, you need to head over there and check him out and become a subscriber. But he comes in clutch this week with this one, and I am thoroughly impressed with it. He says the Fort Wayne Allen Country Clubs, county clubs, not country clubs, because we're not talking golf here. We're talking about ham radio. The Fort Wayne Allen County clubs, ham radio clubs, have one common newsletter. They get together, they slice up everybody's club entries, and then it's sent out monthly to all of the membership base across all of the clubs. And this way, the respective club members know about what the other clubs are doing and when. And it makes collaboration way easier, which is an awesome idea. That, I think, alone, a lot of clubs can learn how to be able to support each other and realize that not one club has a corner of the market. All of us do ham radio, guys. Nobody does anything special. We might do it something a little differently, but dude, we're all part of the bigger organization as ham radio. So I applaud these guys for putting together an awesome, group club newsletter effort, because we all know newsletters are a tough to do, especially if you're a newsletter person. Every month, slog over slog, trying to find content to keep it, fun and interesting. But these guys are doing it the right way, and so we applaud them. We appreciate you, Carlos, for sharing that idea, and hopefully maybe it invigorates you to kind of take that to your clubs and the clubs around your area to try it out. So with that, as he says, both ideas need to spread, and he was talking about his idea from our last episode, and you can go back to that and replay and check that out. But ultimately, he says, to spread across our hobby, he says he wants less salty 80-meter ass hattery. That is a quote. That is his quote. Do not, none of this information is directly related by Live Free and Ham and is owned by the respective owners. We'll put that little tagline at the bottom. And so more should be working together to grow the hobby. And I agree 120% there, Carlos. And again, thanks for sharing such an awesome do good episode. And we appreciate you, contributing. So with that, I'm good with that. How about you guys?
I think that's fantastic.
Yep.
And I won't go into my tirade on clubs and the recent YouTube videos about clubs.
Oh yes.
I'll save that. I'll save that for a special one-on-one Live Free and Ham podcast rant.
He'll charge you for it too.
Coming to you soon.
There we go. We got a topic for next week. All right. Well, how about you, Todd? I think it's an impressive attempt to, build the, connectivity versus, disconnection.
Say that again.
I won't say it again because I have no idea what the hell I was saying. Anyway, what do you think of it, basically what I was saying?
The guy turns 50 and he starts losing. We don't even know what he's talking about. Jeez.
When I go off script, I really go off script. That's just the way it works here, my friend. All right. Well, all I was saying is what were your thoughts on it? Do you approve?
Sure.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, with that, I am, gonna tie this one up with a bow. So. How can you share your do good with us? Well, there are obviously 3 easy ways. You can always head over, leave us a voicemail at 978-233-1142. And I would have him play that jingle one more time, but I think we have a 3-hour episode. But, I was still an awesome jingle, so it's a good way to remember the number. You can always head over to livefreeandham.com/do good, all one word. There's a nice, easy form there. You can fill it in, and we'll be happy to read it on the next episode. Or if you're one of those type A dedicated folks, and we have a few in our midst that have submitted in the past, and we thank you guys again for doing that, but you can via WinLink, the beer is talking tonight, via WinLink HF, send us an email. And do we have one? No, we don't have one, do we?
No.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, so you can send Paul and only Paul. Hear me, Paul and only Paul. N1OG is his call sign. A WinLink email with your do good episode, and that secures you a spot at any one of our, future live stream episodes. So we will reach out to you, coordinate that. If you want to come on, we'd love to have you on. And it's just a way of saying thank you for taking the effort to use technology like WinLink and Ham Radio and show us how it's done. So with that, thank you again for everybody who's contributed to the Do Good episode. We appreciate this. And it's a fun little episode we love all doing within Live Free and Ham. And we're going to continue to do it because we want to show the good stuff that happens in ham radio. None of this, ass hattery. All right. So now we are into our next episode. And with great joy, I get to... Now, a little something extra with Todd, W1STJ. All right, for those that are on our podcast episode, you obviously don't get to see all of the time, the sweat, the tears, the blood, everything in between the other samples that have been donated, to creating the new banner for Todd with the new submission of photos. Now, I have to throw a little asterisk caveat because he sent me a photo way back, but it was crap because I couldn't, every time I tried to edit out the background, I had a bitch of a time because it would chop off its head every time. So I had to have him resend me a video, but he came through in clutch and sent me another photo. And therefore, we have got a new photo for Todd's, so a little something extra. So if you want to check that out, you can always head over to our YouTube channel and check that on this episode. So with that, as we always know, yep, you've heard it here. This is where we help Todd study for his extra class license. Each episode, we pick 3 questions from the extra class pool to test his knowledge and hope he gets his upgrade. Please, I hope soon. All right. So if that, we'd like you to follow along. You can always head over to hamstudy.org. It's a great resource to help you prepare for your test. It is recommended by 3 out of 4 volunteer examiners because the AARL was not available for comment. But we'll get into that. We'll tell you why.
The what?
Anyway, the 4-letter word that we refuse to talk about that shall not be named. Without any further delay.
AARL?
You can call it whatever you want. So with any further delay, I'll hand it over to our VE Quizmaster, PAUL. Go ahead, take it.
All right, Todd. So we're sticking with sub-element number 7. Question number 1 for the evening. What is the purpose of a step-start circuit in a high-voltage power supply? Is it A, to provide a dual-voltage output for reduced power applications? B, to prevent arcing across the input power switch or relay contacts? C, to allow the filter capacitors to charge gradually? Or D, to compensate for variations of the incoming line voltage?
All right, I think I know this one. I'm going to go with C, to allow the filter capacitors to charge gradually.
This I remember from my basic electronics in high school. So it is C.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Woohoo!
So
Perfect.
Don't let Eric fool you. He didn't know that answer. He's just following my lead.
No, whatever I did.
So the explanation, a step-start circuit is gradually increases the voltage applied to filter capacitors. The reason we use this circuit is to avoid putting the full voltage on the capacitor all at once. If we were to put the full voltage on the capacitor all at once, it might fail, literally let the smoke out, or at least result in a decrease of the capacitor's useful life.
Roger. Excellent.
All right, off to a good start. Question number 2. Which of the following is generally true of finite impulse response filters? Is it A, FIR filters are easier to implement for a given set of passband roll-off requirements? B, FIR filters can respond faster to impulses? C, FIR filters can delay all frequency components of the signal by the same amount? Or is it D, all of these choices are correct?
Ooh. I hate when they throw all the choices because that could be an option.
It could be, but it might not be.
I'm going to go with D.
I'm going to go with B.
D is incorrect.
Oh!
B is also incorrect.
Oh.
Oh, I thought it was A. No, so the correct answer is C. FIR filters can delay all frequency components of the signal by the same amount.
Well, I learned something new.
And so we've got a very thorough explanation here, but finite impulse response, FIR filters, and infinite impulse response, IIR filters, are both discrete time filters, but one major difference is the IIR filters include a feedback path, whereas the FIR filters do not. So without feedback, the effect of any input signal cannot persist longer than the fixed delay of the filter. So input samples are treated equally. Stupid test hint, a finite value is a fixed amount, so you should pick the answer with the word amount in it.
Sure. Amount. Got it.
Amount. All right. Well, you're 50%. So we'll see. Here's the third and final question of the night. What is a frequency discriminator? Is it A, an automatic band switching circuit? B, a circuit for filtering closely adjacent signals? C, an FM generator circuit? Or D, a circuit for detecting FM signals?
I'm going to go with D, a circuit for detecting FM signals.
I'm gonna go with B. Oh,
D is correct. Or, I'm sorry, D is correct. Yeah, so it is a circuit for detecting. And so, as we all should know, right, FM stands for frequency modulation and is a method for sending an audio signal by modulating the frequency of the signal. Thus, the circuit that detects the FM signal is called a frequency discriminator, or sometimes a frequency detector.
Go back to the question. There was no FM in the question, was there? Yeah, there was no FM. So how can they say it's FM specific? That's not fair.
There's FM in the answer.
True.
Listen, Paul wrote that question and authorized it. So blame him.
I didn't.
The whole Beck revolves around Paul.
He's the V or whatever.
For our club, not for the club. United
I
States
blame him.
ARRL.
I blame him for everything.
There you go.
Well, you know, Todd, you did get 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What do you have to say for yourself, my friend?
Well, it was a lot better than last week.
It was.
I'm getting better.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know, you have these ebbs and flows. Like weeks you go straight 3 for 3s all the time, shooting 1,000, you know, batting 1,000, and then weeks, you know, speed bump in the road, totally fine. It's all good.
Okay.
As long as
You missed out though, Todd, because we had a VE session yesterday. You could have done it, but you didn't study hard enough.
Could have. You know, if this episode, if this segment goes for the next 6 months, Todd, we are going to live stream your VE testing session. That's all.
Listen. I've got what, 3 more years before it changes?
No, you don't. No, you don't. We'll have to have a GoFundMe to get you to freaking get your ass in there and start taking the test, because I don't think I can keep plugging through these questions. Oh man!
Well, you should probably take the test again, because it seems like you get more wrong than I do.
And dude, Google's failed me 3 or 4 times at least. So hey,
you only have to pass once.
Yeah.
Exactly right. True that. So let's wrap this up. So if you're on the journey to studying your technician general or extra class license like Todd, in that case, handstudy.org is an awesome resource for getting your ticket. And if you haven't checked out the episode, you can always head over to our back catalog and check out that episode that we had with Signal Stuff and Richard and Ben. Those guys were great, and it was a fun episode to have them on and talk about all of the great products that they are doing over there. Which I have actually some good news to report, that I finally bought a stupid signal stick. Like, I've been a ham for more than 4 years, but 4 years at least, from after COVID, and I didn't have a signal stick at all. I felt like very out of it. Yeah, I know. Sad, isn't it? So I finally got one. I don't know, dude. I just didn't. I knew of them and I knew them well, but I just didn't. I finally went over there and clicked the button.
The best HT antenna you can get. I mean, look at how awesome it is.
Yeah.
You can loop it around, and then you undo it. It goes right back to its original shape.
Your swatch is as big as mine.
Boom.
did you buy the BNC one?
Yes, I
Or
did.
you buy? All right.
No, I did. I learned from my friends there. They helped me spend my money wisely this time. And I did buy the BNC connector. So the SMA to BNC with the little rubber grommet and everything. I didn't splurge and buy the counterpoise because I felt like, probably not going to need it. But, I bought the antenna and that BNC connector. So now I just need to convert the rest of my radios to that BNC style.
Well,
I didn't get the BNC connector.
Well, you bought it early.
If you're clever enough, you can make your own little counterpoise with a ring terminal.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep. I was thinking, I believe Ben and Richard spent a lot of care and time and effort creating the right diameter of ring to fit over the top of that. But, there's nothing I can't take a drill there and hone that out to, create my own little counterpoise. And I have plenty of wire, out the wazoo, out the back. So, I think in that case, I was okay with it. I'll buy definitely a lot more in terms of antennas and stuff. So that's definitely coming your way, Richard. And we appreciate you and everything you guys do over at Signal stuff. So, go over there and support those guys. They do an awesome job. They help the ham radio community, both with ham tools and exam tools, not ham tools, and Hambook now. So if you actually haven't paid attention, Hambook is a great now online resource that they're putting out, that they're playing around with, which is a great addendum, or in addition to, I should say, of all of the whys of, when the exam questions kick out. So like, if you want to learn more about, certain like the FM discriminators, he'll go into very plain English and probably tell you exactly everything you need to know. So you have a better, clearer understanding. So, great resources that those guys are creating. So we appreciate them and thank, them for doing all the cool stuff that they do. So, and lastly, if you've received your license or you've upgraded, and I know there's a bunch of, we've been privy, this week we just had a VE session in our club and we had 5 guys upgrade?
Six.
Yeah, 6
Well, we had
total and
6
2 upgrades.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, you can fill it in. I'm not the VE guy.
Yeah. So, one gentleman, he passed his technician. But the people that he did his test with do everything the old-fashioned way by snail mail.
Oh, that's tough.
So he sent me an email before the test session. He said, "Hey, listen," he's like, "I passed my tech." He's like, "But it's going to be probably like 3-4 weeks before I get a call sign."
That's painful.
Like, yeah, so he was like, "I really want to test for my general." He's like, "But can I?" I said, "Bring me a copy of your CSCE, your certificate of successful completion, and I will apply the credit, and then we will submit all of your paperwork electronically." And so it's probably going to hit the FCC before his tech, but
they're going to be
that's
like,
all
what
right.
the hell is this? Awesome. Well, way to step in there, man, and help him out to finally get him on the air. So good job to you. Kudos, thumbs up, and pat on the back there, sir. You are the remarkable VEs that we always expect you guys to be. And, nice job with using, exam tools to come to the rescue.
Exam tools for the win.
Very much so. So if you've gotten your, technician, or maybe you've upgraded, we have in the past have always wanted to celebrate with you. So, feel free to send us an email, livefreeandham@gmail.com. Let us know you got your upgrade. Let us know you became a technician, you knew the ham radio hobby, and we will celebrate with you. And we'll give you 5 seconds of fame here to be able to let everyone know who you are and your call sign, and, tell you, hey, we celebrate with you and we love, that you're coming into the hobby, and, we want to help support you as any way we can. And we'll make sure we submit that on our next show. So with that, all right, let's get into the usual stuff as always, guys. So with our usual format, let me ask you, what's been going on in your Ham Radio Week, Paul?
Well, let's see. So, I went to a birthday party this week. That was kind of ham related, right?
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh,
it was,
okay.
it was at a brewery that somebody really liked. Oh, congratulations there, the big 5-0.
Yeah, bastard. Get off my lawn. Yeah. ahead.
But yeah, so otherwise, let's see. I got my SDR software working again. I did a little bit of CW practice. I'm getting my call sign really well now. That's about all I can do. That's about all I can hear. That's about all I can send is my call sign. But it's
Nice.
something. It's a step in the right direction.
Good.
Let's see what else. I got a whole bunch of projects and things going on, ham radio related, that are in the works. I just gotta kick myself in the ass and start actually getting some things done. But otherwise, I guess it was a good ham radio week, and glad to be here on the podcast.
Wow. We're glad to have you on as always. And, good on that, and again, I thank you for Todd, first and foremost, spreading the love to let everybody know that it was my birthday, because, it would have been a lonely, not that Todd and I don't hang out already, but, it would have been very lonely, and you'd have to hang out with the rest of my family.
well, let's talk about how the birthday started at Prest.
Oh yeah, God. So all right, I'll circle back to that, or you could throw it in what's your ham radio week, since you were the one to kick the damn thing off. So with that, Todd, how was your ham radio week?
Well, I was at this so-called kind of ham party, and before that, the club on Wednesdays meets at Press Cafe. Is that what it's called? Press Cafe?
Yes, sir.
For our morning weekly breakfast. And happened to be Eric's birthday that day, and kind of spread the word. And then I believe it was Tim, KC1 QDK, our buddy there, who decided to stand up and start singing happy birthday. And then this family next to us started singing, and everyone
it was
clapping.
a whole bunch of random women, and I think the table adjacent to us, which a bunch of other guys started. I'm like, the whole store was singing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you laugh.
So then I say to Eric, I go, so what are you doing tonight? He goes, I think we might be going out, just a family. I don't know, nothing big. I'm like, all right, well, have fun. See you. Talk to you later. And then we all showed up, and then I forgot, so I went through and I was just whipping out everyone who I thought would want to come or whatever that you hang out with, and I totally spaced Tim. Out of the number one guy, right? I just assumed he would be there anyway. So I'm like, oh shit. So I text him while you were saying goodbye to him. I said, hey, I totally forgot to tell you, but we're going to the brewery. Can you meet us there? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be there. So it was good. It was pretty cool. It was good to see everyone, and it was good to I think Eric was a little surprised when people just started walking in.
And so before I kind of kick it off, anything you want to add?
No, that's it. Go ahead, Eric. How was your day? How was your week for ham radio?
Figured I'd give you a little lead in there. Thank you. My ham radio week. Well, my ham radio week was great, man. I like I said, or these guys have said, I'm turning 50. I kind of alluded to it in one of my few hiking videos a while back. I had a little tail segment. If you stuck out to the very end, you'd realize me huffing and puffing, and the other guys were like miles ahead of me. But I'm like, I'm still sticking it out. I mentioned I was going to turn 50, so. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I didn't expect any, kind of kind of anything to go on throughout the day and whatever. And I knew my wife was going to have something planned at the brewery, but I think it was going to kind of be more intimate with the family. But I remember months ago that just kind of, it really only got set off when you said, hey, what are you doing after? And I said, I'm just going out with the family. And you were like, that was it, done. You didn't pursue any further, deeper into the conversation of would you go to a brewery? You just kind of cut it off, and you were like, okay, back on to the next conversation. And then, this knucklehead to my, left here or right, depending on which way you're looking at, it texts me a happy birthday on Discord. And then he's like, oh, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'll probably be going to a brewery with the family. He's like, oh, that's great. And that's it. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Both of these guys, I know better. They would be like, oh, dude, sorry, they'd continue on the conversation. So I knew something was sort of happening. And then, my wife's like, we got to get going. We got to get out of the house, and I'm like, all right, well, something's really either I'm going to see my family show up or, there's going to be something more than that. And I got my family to show up on top of that. And so it was just really cool. It was kind of funny because literally one of my friends I've known for 35 years walked by the front of the window at the brewery. And my favorite brewery, if anybody's ever in the New Hampshire area, head over to Spyglass Brewery. Phenomenal beers, awesome place, great food, the whole 9 yards. If you're ever looking for an awesome brewery, that's a great place to go. But on top of it, a couple of people walk by that front window, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then, at that point, I see Tim miles away because he's still wearing the G Sarah beanie hat that he had on that morning at, Prest. And I'm like, oh, well, there's Tim and his wife. And then Ryan shows up, and then Todd shows it, the whole crew starts coming in. And I was blessed. I was totally excited to have all you guys here. And I appreciate you both coming and hang out. Ryan as well. Ryan definitely brought his wife along, and we had a lot of good beers, a lot of good conversation, talked a lot of ham radio, and I thank you guys both for coming and hanging out. It definitely warmed, my heart, and I consider you guys both as great true friends. So thank you again for coming to hang out with my 50th.
Did you see Tim left his gloves on the table?
He did.
Did you see those things?
Yeah.
Did you see those things?
He's got the finger mitts.
Like honestly, they look like something like you would do like an archaeological dig,
yeah.
like a caveman would have. They're fingerless gloves. They're all shredded on the inside with holes in them. And then you know how the fingerless gloves have you can make it like a mitten,
flip up. Yep.
Right. Well, the thread came out, so he's got it safety pinned.
That's Tim.
and Kim, his wife, is like, I've been trying to get him to throw those things away forever. So then that Friday was our club meeting, and sure enough, he had them. So I'm like, now don't forget these gloves, Tim. I go, they may not make it back out of here if you leave them here. The janitor might just toss them.
They might think they're rags or something.
But you know what? I had a pair of fingerless gloves that I wore until they literally just kind of disintegrated. Like they got so thin, and I just kept using them. And then one day, the whole palm of it was gone.
It just dropped.
It was just like. And I'm like, I get it, Tim, but maybe next year for Christmas or his birthday, I'm going to get him a new pair of fingerless gloves with the mitt.
But we know Tim, we roasted his shack. What does he have hanging most of his radios from? Zip ties. We've all seen it. We all know what Tim does. He's very resourceful in all of his use. So he's true hamgenuity at his finest. So we applaud him.
That's awesome. Cool. I mean, yeah, it was awesome. He goes, oh, thanks for getting those gloves. I've had these gloves for. I'm like, yeah, I can tell.
Forever.
They're awesome, though. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So outside of that, I did play a little ham radio, but I can't remember what it was. The 50th birthday was the icing on the cake all week. And, and we had our club meeting on Friday, which was pretty cool to be able to hang out with everybody. And, I don't know about you guys, but our club is freaking taking off. We literally had 5 new members show up, and all 5 were like, I got to be part of this club. And they're like, literally it was like a fire sale, or it was more like a Black Friday sale for membership, because everybody's at my doorstep, during middle of the club break, all want to fill out the form, all need to get membership today. I'm like, dude, no rush. It's you're a club member. It's not a big deal. We'll get there. They're all super excited to do stuff. So, it's really cool to see some of that.
Well, we had a new guy today on the net from Bo. He just came back from California. He was surrounded by fire, he said.
Wow.
And he said he's never been on this net before. I don't know how he heard about us, but who knows? But I said, hey, I'm going to join it again. So
awesome.
Maybe we'll get a new member out of him. But he told us, by the time this airs, hopefully those fires will be long gone and been recovered. Yep. But there is a website, and I checked it out. It's called fire.ca.gov, and it has all the updated latest information on all the fires in California, past and present and current. So, but he said he was in North Hollywood, and he says he was surrounded by fire. He goes, it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, our hearts go out to those folks and all those families out there. The devastation and craziness that's going on out there. It's just unfathomable. I can't imagine level neighborhoods here around where I live leveled to the ground. That's just so mind blowing. So, our hearts go out to you guys. And there's plenty of resources and places you can donate and help out there. So make sure you reach out to those folks and those agencies to be able to help the rebuild process, because it's going to be a long road. And once they got a good percentage of it under control, but they're still working on it. So, we'll definitely, give our prayers and thoughts with them, and, definitely help out if you can and have that, those resources.
Well, while you're at it, don't forget about Hawaii, because Hawaii got literally burnt to the ground.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The whole freaking island. and they got $750 from the government. So they need more help than California. At least California, like the government said, hey, we'll take care of you for the next 6 months. Like the poor people in Hawaii, they got $750.
Jacked. That sucks. That totally sucks.
And then there's still the people out in North Carolina too, are
still rebuilding.
There's still some places they said there's still no power. Like out in it's just terrible. I mean, we have to. We really, the FEMA and the government and whatever, we need to come up with a better emergency plan for these natural disasters. People should not be. I mean, if I was president, executive order, no money goes anywhere outside this country until all these other people are taken care of. You know, it's just crazy. The amount of money we throw out to the rest of the world, and we don't even take care of our own. Kind of
Totally.
Anyway, well, you heard it here. Todd Newman for president, 2028.
Yeah.
It's our good segment here.
I'm starting a new party. It's called the Common Sense Party. So if you want someone with some common sense, just
I'll throw a couple of dollars in for you. That way you can make more than just cents.
Go fund me. Common Sense campaign fund.
Dude, we got to solve our first problem here before we get you running for candidacy. You know, we got to get Paul in the air, out of a plane and in the air, and getting his Class A, because
Paul will be. If you make me president, I will let Paul jump out of Air Force One.
There you go.
Here we go. All right, so we get the short-term plan of skydiving by June, and then we got the 4-year plan of skydiving out of Air Force One.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine that one.
We just gotta get Todd elected.
I feel like I'm literally watching an episode. You ever see the Adam Sandler episode of the 8-bit? Was it 8-bit where like his friend, the other guy is actually president and he goes in to hang out? Do you see that movie? Why I can't think of the name of the movie? Man, it's all about arcade games. You ever see that one? Oh man, it's escaping me at the moment.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
I think it's called Arcade. Adam Sandler.
Well, Paul, when I become president, you could come anytime you want out of Air Force One. You could jump
It's called Pixels. You ever see Pixels?
No.
Watch it on, it's probably on Netflix or any one of the streaming services. Phenomenal movie, but bottom line is that all the guys he usually has in all of his other Adam Sandler movies, the one of the guys who's also has the TV show that, why I can't think of his name. Let me find it. My brain is on fog here. Let me grab.
I mean, the Happy Madison crew is relatively small. You know, I mean, you got Rob Schneider and
who's the big guy who I can't think of his name. Cast. Let me just pull it up real quick.
Rob Schneider's like in every film he's ever been in. I think.
Who is it?
He's got like Rob some Schneider. Cameo or something.
Yeah, let me do it here. I got IMDb real quick here. I can pull it up.
You can do it.
Kevin James. That's who I was thinking of.
Kevin James.
So Kevin James is in it. He's the president, and Adam Sandler goes in like when they get attacked by. They send a long story short. I'm going to watch this, but they send a time capsule out into space, and in it has all of the arcade games that we played as kids in the 80s, and they send all of the arcade games out there. So aliens come back to Earth to try to attack us, but they're attacking us using the 8-bit versions of the games. So the characters, all that you probably, so you've seen it.
I did see that. Yeah.
And so like, again, Kevin James is the president of the United States, and Adam Sandler gets to be his best friend. So I was like, dude, that's like a total like relationship I can kind of see here. But yeah, it was a cool movie. Anyway, that was a long way to get there. I don't know, whatever.
It's all right. You know, when Todd's president, we're gonna put a 150-foot tower behind the White House with some directional beams and Yagis and.
Yep. We'll have an antenna farm, not just a tower. No, we're going to go, where do presidents usually go out in the Midwest? Where's Camp David?
Camp David.
Yeah, we'll put like 8 to 10 towers out there because that's all flat land and mountains and everything else like that.
Isn't Camp David like in Maryland? It's like close to the White House.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like in the woods, like the mountains or something. No, we're going to turn the White House into ham radio. We'll have
Radio Central.
Whole antenna farm.
You're right.
It'll be the new ham radio clubhouse.
Yeah.
You already are, Shane. You're going to be streaming from the
the Oval Office will be the clubhouse office.
Totally. Awesome.
Sir, we have to get on the plane and head to China for the conference. Yeah, hold on one second. Can we do a loop around? Paul's got to jump.
For all of our podcast listener audience, Paul has now changed his background to the White House. He's already preparing, and it goes great with his lift free hat beanie because it literally stands out prominent behind the curtain. So go check out the video on our YouTube channel and you'll see what we're talking about. All right. Well, with enough of the
what's the topic today, Eric? What are we talking about today?
Our topic today is a 4-letter word, my friend. You know, one of our last episodes that we talked about, we kind of got into memberships and talking about club memberships and the ARRL memberships and all that other stuff. So if you haven't caught that episode, head back to that episode because I say when we left that, we got pretty hardcore in terms of talking about the ARRL. I mean, it got Paul fired up. It got me a little fired up. And I know Todd was in that same boat. So it kind of got me thinking, I'm like, dude, maybe we need to have a little discussion about the ARRL. And we need to just be open and honest. But more so, let's not just bash them. Let's think about like, okay, how can we phrase this? That if tomorrow all of a sudden Mitzner decides to step down and give one of us 3, total control over the ARRL, what the heck would you do to make ARRL better? And, there's a lot of avenues and things, but, I'm curious, what are your top 3 things as candidacy CEO, Grand Poobah of ARRL? And so we're going to phrase it that way. And with that, we're going to extend this conversation. We'll throw in our Discord there. We're going to have a topic. We want to hear what the hell you would change in your ARRL if it was your ARRL. And we want to know. And, again, we're not, you can remain anonymous. You cannot be anonymous. I don't care, whatever. But in essence, bottom line is ARRL doesn't listen to us. If they do, well, maybe they might glean something new from it. But hey, I'm probably Todd. I don't know. You are a paying member. Are you an ARRL active member or no?
Yeah, I haven't paid it. Remember, I think it ran out in March. And I thought I was a member, but I'm not. But I haven't done it yet.
So yeah, so let's phrase this. All
I'm
of our
on the
opinions
fence
are on
now.
our own.
After that last episode, listening to Paul, I was like, maybe I should think this through.
I sadly already paid my dues, so I'm already currently an ARRL member for the next 3 years. So I'm still on the hook for that. But, it got me thinking, like I said, what would we do? Like, what, you have the stage, guys. Let's talk about it. And I'm going to, who wants to pick it up first? So the question on the table is, you are now official ARRL CEO, commander in chief. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? So Paul's raised his finger in a nice, polite way.
The first order of business is completely revamping the entire budget.
Okay.
Minimize operating expenses, minimize salaries, put more money into programs that actually do something for the community.
Okay. Any one specific program you'd want to take off on the, initial? Oh, man, I'm falling off my armchair here. so I know we can get high level here. We could talk, 50,000 foot level, but let's get into weeds. What one program ticks you off the most that you think, you'd want to change initially?
Well, so it's not that one program, makes me mad. It's
several.
So I've been involved in nonprofit organizations for many years, and the one common problem in every nonprofit organization is the goddamn budget. Because people get greedy, and they want to get paid a 6-figure salary for doing a 40-hour a week job, and I get it, right? We all want to live a nice, super comfortable life, but come on. If you're running a nonprofit, like, you should be taking a lower salary so that there is more money to put into the programs. Things like the teachers and the kids, and getting more into scouting and ham radio. Like, why isn't the ARRL putting a ton of money into their marketing and whatever for these youth programs? Because the youth is the future, right? It's not let me line my frickin' pockets and let me get rich off of all the exorbitant frickin' membership fees. No.
Okay.
Let's take the money that we've got and figure it out so that we're putting more money into our programs.
All right. So you're saying destroy the good old boy mentality, bring it down to pretty much the beginnings of a nonprofit in terms of, there's no true executive board that's pulling a large bankroll and all of that money is being refunneled into more programs that are, focused on youth and just in general, growing the hobby in the younger generation.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think just what was there, 7 flexes? I think is what I heard. 7,
3.
7.
Are you talking about in their room? 3? Yeah, 3.
Well, 3 in that room.
No, only 3. Yeah,
There's only 3.
Does that change your opinion?
No. All right. Regardless, okay.
You can't use those 3 because they're in the employees
the
only.
members
employee
lounge. Yeah, employee lounge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
No, you don't need that. Use a $1,500 radio like the rest of us, and take that flex money and put it to the kids.
Should I sell my flex then because mine's not 1,500?
Sell your flex and put that extra money towards the kid.
Oh, aye, sir. I'm on it. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, good stuff. Good start. I got some questions around that, but we'll get back to that. So Todd, you've now been appointed CEO. You're now official ARRL Grand Poobah. What's your first, order of business? What do you want to abolish and wipe clean the slate?
Well, I'm right there with Paul. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how much these people make, and if it's their full-time job, then great. But depends on, are they rake, they make it more than they should be. I don't even know that, but my guess is they probably do, since it's the way most organizations run. A couple things I would think. I just kind of thought about it, when we talked about what we're going to do tonight. I was thinking why not make it either have a board of hams that can oversee and have the president or whoever the leadership be accountable to. But I also thought that maybe make it into a co-op. So it's not like just a nonprofit, but it's just owned by its members. Okay. So kind of like EMS, I think, is it EMS that does that?
REI.
REI does that. And also, I think it would be kind of cool to be like, okay, well, this is our, ham radio is our thing, and this is our, what do you call it, club or whatever that we all own.
Yep.
Our organization we own, and we have a lot of input into it. The other thing, I think their website is a little overbearing. Like, let's get with like more modernize some of that stuff, make it user friendly, get an app, so it's not like, because most kids don't go to websites anymore. They go to apps and on their phone and stuff. So those are just some of the things, I always look at these big agencies that oversee. I think they like their number one purpose in my mind is like they lobby to keep ham radio running and keeping the bands and stuff. And for that, I think that's good. I'm not involved that much with the ARRL, so I don't know exactly what they do. So I don't want to criticize them for not doing stuff that I don't know, but I also don't see a lot. I know that they have the books. I would, when they do give out free gifts to get memberships, I think that should be like, it would be probably better to give out a digital book or even a paper book of something that would be useful. I mean, coffee cups are I got enough coffee cups. I would like an antenna book would be great, or, study for your extra book or anything. I mean, that to me would be more useful and maybe get more people on, or even give out if you're a new member, give them out a like Quan Shang or Baofeng or something. I'm serious. I mean,
what are you working with Ralph directly?
No, I'm just saying. I really wanted to get one of those cheap radios so I could go buy one of those, one of the antennas. But I thought I had one, a nice heavy box, and it ended up being like a tool set. I thought, it's got to be the radio, but I didn't get one. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's. Look, I think it's they do it. They do have they sponsor field day and stuff, which is great. But I think the members should also have more of a say, because I know there's field day. There's been a lot of questions about how it's the rules and what works and stuff. And it's like, it seems like, we elect the people to do it, but is it really a fair election? Because it's like, it's almost given who's going to get it, like who advertises the most, who knows the most people. I guess that's the way with any election. But I think maybe if you had the members owned the agency, then you might be able to get a little bit more. And if you had a board, you'd have some accountability, and it wouldn't be the same people. And I'd also have term limits on the people who are in those high positions.
Okay.
I don't think you should be a vice president or president for 20 years.
So basically shorter term limits. Okay.
Which and honestly, I don't even know what the term limits are for the presidents, but I'm assuming you can just run forever.
Well, board members traditionally in any organization can be there as long as they pretty much, want to in most cases, depending on what the guidelines are set up by the, obviously the organization as a whole, but okay. All right. So shorter term limits makes sense. Okay. Technology apps, giving members more. We'll say whether that's a Quancheng for you, Quancheng for him, Quancheng for her, all of that stuff. It sounds like
I would do like a pick, like here, join us and pick one of these things, all equal, all around the same amount of, whatever. And like I said, I would probably take like a resource book or something, whether it be only digital. I know, Paul, you like the physical copy, but even if it was a digital book, it doesn't cost anything to send out an antenna book digitally. Do you know what I mean?
No. Right.
And it's their book, right? Like it's the ARRL book. So I'm sure that's something that could be, and it would be more beneficial, especially for new hams who are like me, who need to learn this stuff, and it would just be good to have the resource. So just a thought.
So, okay. That's good stuff. I mean, not bad. I think it sounds like the tagline now is like smaller government, more people. It sounds like that's the way it's going, which I'm all for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not putting down the leadership. I don't pay that much attention to it, but I do think that what we talked about the last show, some of the stuff that they did with the dues and stuff and how they did it, and that they were willing to lose members and didn't care, that bothers me, because I think if it was and that's where I got this idea, like if it was a co-op and we all owned it, then we wouldn't lose our members, or we wouldn't want to lose our members, and they were willing to lose members, and I don't think that's right.
I'm with you on the co-op. Sounds like a very interesting scenario, because it still follows you get to make the decision to buy into it or not based off of what value proposition they provide to you. But in a co-op, like, I know I'm part of the REI co-op, and I get a lot of benefits from them when I go buy stuff, whether camping gear, whatever, be the outdoor kind of stuff. And they offer a lot more for trade-in values and stuff like that. So that trade-off of what I'm paying for makes total sense in that relationship. And all of that stuff. So yeah, cool. Okay. I buy into that. So, yeah. All right. Well, you ready for me to drop a few on you?
Lay it on.
Okay. All right. Well, first and foremost, I agree 100%. I don't think I don't think burning the whole village initially going in is the right way to do it. I think definitely kind of spending time with each board member and the executive team to determine really what does your value bring to this organization, and then decide whether or not we need to prune down the size of that organization. Because I fully don't know, and I'll be first to admit that, like Todd, I don't know really what the board does, or who consists of the board. But I hear a lot of things a lot of times, people like, oh, the board, they make stupid rules. Like I guess there's a new rule out there that people are trying to bring light to, that they're trying to build the good old boys club with ARRL. So those that are currently in position today now have stringent, more tighter, ridiculous rules to be able to try to get into either volunteer positions or executive positions or area positions within the organization, nevertheless above and beyond the board. So there's a lot of those shenanigans, which first and foremost for me just need to get squashed. So that would be the biggest thing, is eliminating a lot of that bureaucracy to simplify the organization as a whole. Transparency, 1,000%. I don't care. Like you pay into this organization, you should know where all our budgets go. You should know where we spend money technology wise, if we spend any money technology wise. Do we pay our volunteers anything? Do they get any benefits for volunteering? Because there are people that volunteer in ARRL all the time, but do they get credit? Do they, what value do they get back outside of being a volunteer in the organization? So, simplifying and improving that process. This is a big thing closer to my heart. My wife's a teacher. I don't care. Like, the biggest budget should be TI. I don't care. TI should be the budget that 90% of all of our funds for the club go into to be able to support Good Game, all of the activities that they're doing. So that just keeps getting better and better and better every year, because they're reaching out to an audience and a people group that a lot of clubs that are older can't do. They struggle doing. We all know that, the gap between younger kids and 60 and 70, old retirement folks, that's a hard gap to bridge. There's not a lot of ways to connect those folks, and it's tough to be able to get them to be able to connect with one another. It can be done, but it's just it's a longer road, or as Josh says, a longer road to hoe. However you look at that. So that would be a big thing, pouring into TI. I would say I am tired of ARRL's paper-based book production system. That needs to go. That they need to turn that thing on its ear and turn it into a technology machine. And what I mean by that is that any of their books, their antenna books, their beginners books, their grounding books, any of those books should be interactive. Those should be including videos. Those should be including materials that when I, as a person, go in and buy them, I'm getting a digital version that I can access anytime and use, but I'm paying into it by my ARRL membership. And then when I don't have an ARRL membership, I don't have access to those materials, which, that's most way electronic book providers, provide their systems. But they should be seeking out two things. One, and this is what really pisses me off the most, they want total control of their content. Those days are long gone. You can't find a book provider today that struggles to try to own their content 110%. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're better off collaborating. They're better off interacting. They're better off building systems and partnerships with other YouTubers, other people that are subject matter experts in their area, and not saying, hey, we're going to own the content 110% and you just get a cut of it. We'll pay you for it. It should be, this is a collaboration. You keep pouring into it. You keep adding to it. You keep building upon it. But all of that content should be in a digital format. And if you wanted to buy the book, and you still are those people like, Paul that wants the magazine, that type of stuff. If you want to buy that, fine. Then you that can be included in your membership. But from a direct book production, copyright house, that just needs to go away. The fact that ARRL gets to pick and choose who they get to have involved in this process kind of sucks, because there are a lot of YouTubers that alone create awesome content, and that is way better and more current and more easier to access than ARRL's book that comes out once a year. That's the size of an Encyclopedia Britannica and costs the amount of what it costs to build the Titanic in 1920 or whenever the Titanic was built. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Like I know there are hams out there that are probably yelling at me going, I love to have my ARRL antenna books on my shelves. I'm like, dude, your shelves are falling off your wall. How many times did you access that book that you couldn't do it online?
Why do they come out with a handbook every year?
Well, you have to update the content. I mean, content's got to be updated.
How much content is changing every year? Like, you couldn't do one every 5 years?
Or just do an addendum.
Yeah.
Where it's like a nice thin little addendum.
They do, and that's in addition to the binded book that they provide you.
You buy the book keeps going
bigger and bigger.
So you buy the binding book, and then every year, instead of wasting trees and whatever, we can just give you an addendum and say, "Oh, you remember? Here is this year's addition to the handbook."
If it was electronic, I would say 110% send it my way all the time. Like I am not, and I know Paul is the traditional. I like the magazine, and that's okay. I get it. But I don't want magazines piling up in my shack. I definitely don't want ARRL specific books piling up in my shack because my shack is not. I mean, you've seen my shack. I mean, go to the shack roast, watch the videos. You've seen all of our shacks. I mean, where are the books in those shacks? They're off to the right. They're hiding. They're not, they're taking up screen space. They're taking up other critical, areas that we need to put monitors.
Are any of the ARRL books digital?
Not that I know of, but I could be wrong. And so,
I don't know either. I mean, yeah, it should be. I mean, it's the new way. It's the way things are. I mean, we're looking colleges for my daughter, and I went to Suffolk University, and I walked into the law library, and Suffolk's a big law school, and there was like one row of books in the law library.
They've got all
like,
our
where the
digital.
frick are all the books? And they're like, oh yeah, we're getting rid of books. It's all on computers and stuff. So it's one of the things that I think that sometimes, like, our hobby has a lot of older generation people in it. Meaning, back in the day when books and everything was that, but we're getting newer generation people, and things have changed and technology's changing. And I think if you don't stay up with that, then you fall apart.
Be behind times. Yeah.
Right. And I don't even, like I said, I don't know who the leadership is or how old they are, how long they've been hams.
They're old.
But right, I think you need to have younger people in there to kind of bring up the newest things, because if not, you're just going to fade and die. And I still also just want to keep putting this out. I don't think there should be an employee room only where they get all the best equipment.
Well,
I don't like that.
Let me go back
I'm walking
to that.
we go to there. I'm walking right in that room. I'm a member. I paid for those bad boys.
True. Okay. I will give you that part. But consider the fact that ARRL has a shit ton of volunteers that go to that building every day that don't get paid. That room is for them. So in essence, those folks that are beyond those paid members,
all right,
that are pulling a salary.
That's better then. If it's for the volunteers to go and they get they
get their own ham radio room.
Oh, I thought it was like just for like the president and the
No. Sorry, my mistake. Yes.
All right. Because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm paying them. They're buying all high end
equipment. Talk you off your cliff now. Awesome.
Well, all right. You want to talk some numbers?
I got one more. Hold on a second. I got one more.
All right.
The biggest one that everyone fucking forgets. What the hell, a LOTW? Get your head out of your 1980s ass and modernize the damn platform. It should not be rocket science. We are not moving billions of dollars through ARRL every day. We are pushing contacts through. Build a platform that is able to grow and expand as the demand needs. So whether or not, and again, I don't know, when was the turn of the time where we weren't required by the FCC to keep logs? Do you remember what that date is? I don't know. It was way beyond our time, probably. I don't mandatorily have to keep logs anymore, so I shouldn't have to mandatorily, give a blood and semen sample to ARRL to basically say, hey, this is who I am. Send me my 4-digit PIN so I can become a certified, LOTW user, and then have to do that every 3 years. I mean, that's like a pain in the ass. I mean, LOTW should be simple. Better than QRZ, more better clarity in terms of confirming contacts.
But you know what, Eric? I guarantee you the people that are in charge of that are people that still do handwritten logs. I guarantee
no.
it.
Well,
I bet.
So
because they probably don't care. Why do we need this? I just have my handwritten log.
I won't get into who I talked to, but we all know this person in our club who used to be part of the technology infrastructure of ARRL and be with them. He told me a lot of insider stuff for LOTW, and LOTW is ultimately built so far in the 70s, 80s that they have never spent any time or budgets or even concern to improving it or thinking about that. It's going to fall off the planet. It's running on like a ridiculous old system because they can't upgrade the software because the software is no longer made. So they are just nursing this thing together with Band-Aids, grit, and spit.
Sounds like my state.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like the mentality. And like they have one or two people that know that system well. And guess what? When they age out and become old and God forbid become silent keys, who the hell is going to support that platform? They're always going to be like, let's just set it on fire and forget it.
Well, I think more people are using QRZ than they are
But they
Logbook of
can't.
the World.
LOTW is required for being able to confirm all of your global contacts. If you want to get, certificate,
From
But
who,
you want
though?
the LOTW awards.
Yeah, but you have QRZ
what else is
awards. Does Europe have to be part of Logbook of the World?
Yes and no. I don't know what to be honest, I don't know 100%.
Does Japan, Australia?
A lot of them do.
Well, they do. But why are they all of a sudden like that's the one? Just because it's always been like that?
Because ergo ARRL was the first to market way back in, I don't know when LOTW came on the scene.
But it doesn't mean they're going to stay that way if they don't stay up with the times. If someone comes up with a better and easier way to do it, like you're saying,
but
if
nobody has.
If Live Free and Ham does, all of a sudden
don't put that out there. I don't want to be putting code.
Live Free and Ham has the logbook, open source logbook of the world, real logbook of the world, logbook of the universe.
LFH LOTW. That's a mouthful. I can't say that all the time.
But what I'm saying is, someone could do it, and that could just be, maybe working with all the ARRLs of all the different places around the world and come up with a universal one that it stays up to date with technology.
Well, you and I both probably believe someone should be able to come up with something, but God, how many log formats do we have? Count them.
No, I know.
Right. So try to submit that to like one system and try to get that one system to interpret the right way. I mean, that's the ridiculousness.
Honestly, for me, I could care less how many go out there or if it's verified or not. The only thing I care about is my POTA logs.
True. Okay, but that's their own system.
No, I know it's their own system, but like honestly, I don't. I mean, I'll do it. I think I have it set up. I haven't even looked at logbook. I just send them all to QRZ and it updates, and I'm fine.
Okay, but okay, so I submit my logs to POTA, and then I submit them to my logger, and my logger tries to upload them to LOTW, and if I don't have an actual specific profile defined for that, it spits it back to me and says, where the fuck are you? I don't know where you are. I can't tell that. It doesn't match your home QTH. It's like, what the hell? Like, why does it matter I do profiles? This is not the 1970s where everybody has a shack and that's all they have. I mean, everyone's mobile. I mean, come on. Let's think 21st century here. Anyway, so Paul wants to say something because I can tell he's sort of jumping at the bit.
Well, all right. So I wanted to go over some numbers, but I will say LOTW, I 100% agree with you. It is the most frustrating fucking system to deal with. If you're after awards like Worked All States, Century Club, whatever, LOTW is a nightmare. And then if you can figure out how to compile the contacts that are relevant to get confirmed for that specific award, well, you have to pay for the credits in order for that to count. Yep. And no, if I pay my fucking membership, I should get that as a free service. Like, I shouldn't have to pay to also get my awards.
But keep in mind with that, LOTW, though, is free anyway. You don't have to be an ARRL to use it. So,
Yeah, unless you want awards.
Well, how many people...
But same with QRZ.
All right, I agree with him 100%. Where in the world, besides ARRL, do you actually pay for your award? If someone gives you a medal, did you pay for any of your war medals, Paul? You have to pay for it?
Well, indirectly.
Yes.
You do? That's bullshit.
Yeah,
but if you get an award, it's not like, oh, congratulations, you just worked all states. $20, please, and we'll give you your. That's wrong. If you earn an award, you shouldn't pay for it.
But so, all right, let's review some numbers, okay?
Okay.
So, according to salary.com, the CEO of the ARRL, the average annual salary is $784,991.
For the seat of ARRL?
Yes.
Yeah.
The president makes the same salary. The chief financial officer makes $409,260 annually.
Wow.
A controller. I don't know what the fucking controller is, but
this is a non-profit.
Yeah. So controller is basically like accounts payable, accounts receivable.
Okay, so they make $235,000 a year.
Wow.
An assistant secretary, and not an actual secretary, but an assistant secretary, is $219,000 a year.
To the CEO or just as general?
Just an assistant secretary. Director of operations. Now, this is a more manageable salary. It's $178,000. Sales manager for advertising, $176,000. Manager for IT infrastructure, $170,000. Director emergency management, $150,000. Manager of product development, $130,000. Manager of education services is the bottom of the list at $124,000.
That's good game.
So every ARRL employee makes over $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
these are ridiculous salaries.
I agree with you.
Cut the salaries down so nobody makes more than fucking $200K. Because I mean, Christ, if you can't live a good life on $200K, there is something wrong.
Yeah,
okay,
very much so.
Like nobody should be making more than 200. I'm sorry, nobody. Not even the head.
It's a non-profit organization.
And then you don't have to charge people for their fucking awards.
Well, so beyond that, but yeah, so Todd, traditionally nonprofits do their bookkeeping, their tax, that whole process is treated way differently because they aren't allowed to keep any profit. So that's usually where majority of a nonprofit NGO goes to is a salary side of things.
I don't give a shit what whoever the president is making $700,000. That's ridiculous. That's not even. It's obscene. It is
$785.
$785. It's obscene, and for that, they should cut our dues back to what they were, and they should reduce his salary in half.
Yeah,
seriously. And if he doesn't like it, I'll take the job for half or fucking even a seventh, whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. And that's where then you've got the balls to tell everyone, oh, you're going to double the dues. And then you're going to say, oh, by the way, you worked really hard and got your thing, but now you have to pay for your thing. Meanwhile, this guy's sitting around with $784,000 a year to do what? What does he exactly do? He's got a shitty website. The logbook of the world sucks ass. I mean, it's like you're failing at everything you're doing. What are you doing that's been good?
Well, it's literally like the opposite of where all the funding is going. It's the reverse. So it's all going to salaries, going to big, large, padding the lines of, all of our executive team, the board, that type of stuff. But then on the reverse side, none of it's helping any of ARRL probably could have avoided 100%, not 100%, probably could have a good percentage avoided their ransomware attack if their technology was up to date. Like they are so far behind from what I understand, talking with the guy who used to be their previous IT director.
And that cost them $1 million in ransom, didn't it?
Well, that just came out of the insurance, so therefore our insurance next year for ARRL is going to be more.
So why isn't the president or the CEO, or why isn't he fired for being incompetent? He failed at his job. He should be fired.
Yep, I agree, but he won't.
They all should be fired. I know they won't, but that's the way it is. So this is why, the more we talk about this and the more you're informing about this, makes me more not want to join the club, because that's not right. That is an extreme. Look at the top employee at Amazon makes, I think it's like 100, all the top executives make the same amount. It's like 156,000, including Bezos or whatever. And then at the end of the year, they make all their money based on how well the company did, and they get the stock options and all that kind of stuff. And they do they make tons of money, right? Millions a year. But their base salary is this. Most base salaries aren't that high. Maybe they have some, but this is a nonprofit ham radio association. You have that much money and you get hacked and then you give up stupid mugs instead of educational stuff. You have a shitty website that's outdated, and you have a logbook of the world that is so outdated. And like you said, the technology, and all these guys get to keep their jobs. I mean, honestly, if you worked for a private company and you made that kind of money and you got hacked like that, someone's going down for it. Did anyone lose their jobs for the hack?
No.
Sounds like they just got raises.
Well, or they just stayed status quo.
Well, either way, I mean,
okay,
that's just to me.
Now that I've fired you guys all up, which is awesome.
Well, they're just not getting my dues.
Well, true. And so at least my look on that is their attitude is like, well, fine, we just don't need you, kind of, because they are not going to hunt you down. They're not going to push back on the clubs to say, hey, you should be making more of your members ARRL, members.
But I guarantee you, I bet you 95% of all the hams out there have no idea the CEO of ARRL makes $758,000 a year.
I guarantee probably a good majority of the technicians, even alone in our club, and we have 45 of them that are brand new technicians, have no idea what the ARRL does or why it does or not does its thing. I think alone the organization as a whole is too fat and needs to be thinned out. It also needs to be more streamlined in being able to adapt to the times and not be a slow moving ship. And more so, it needs to be able to have if anything, those salaries, that money that we're producing in the club, 80% of it should be in the lobbying aspect to be able to get into Congress, start playing those games, because we don't have any control except being able to throw money and people and resources at that to be able to keep our spectrum intact and alive and well, and continue to help us grow the spectrum, because as things start to get better and more improved and technology gets better, 5 gigahertz, 7 gigahertz, 10 gigahertz, all of those bands are going to become more popular. Right now they're kind of on the fringe, and they're fringe bands. Not a lot of us have the time, the power, the capabilities to be able to set up large satellite dishes and be able to make point-to-point schedule contacts and stuff. But the ARRL should be still defending those bands. Heck, like I heard that the 220 band that we gave to UPS doesn't use it anymore. Why can't we get that slice back? What the fuck? Like, when did that happen? When did we decide that UPS was okay to be able to take a 220 segment of the 220 band away from us? And, so like, it's those things, like constantly, being aware of those, and that's where the ARRL should be like spending, in my opinion, all of their time and effort on top of education and, streamlining their digital process and being lean. That's, I think, the biggest thing, lean.
Do the presidents of like the areas are they salaried too?
No, they're all volunteer. They get a stipend. So I don't know fully. And this is where someone, if if you've got some insider information or insider baseball about like how those folks, the volunteers, the section coordinators, that type of stuff, what they get, I heard they get stipends for like being able for travel and, all of those expenditures and stuff like that. So they don't take anything out of their own pocket. But those for the overall process, they aren't getting paid to be able to be volunteers for, his area presidents and that type of stuff. That's all, volunteer.
How many employees does the ARRL have?
I don't know.
A lot.
Paul, can you look that up?
So I'm looking on Glassdoor, which gives a little bit more range of job titles. And so, you got engineers, you've got assistant editors, associates, supervisors, engineering, director of public relations. That's a reasonable salary. That's $132,000. Customer service representative, 40 grand a year, dude. Like, when you call and the person answers the phone, you're talking to somebody that's making a normal salary, right? Sales associate, 37,000. Technical editor, 95,000. Member services, 40,000. Assistant manager, 54,000. Customer service representative, 53,000 a year. Network engineer, 102,000 a year. So yeah, that's why I said my number one thing, right? Day one, somebody else taking over the ARRL, they got to massively cut the operation expenses. Because if you take your operating budget and you cut it, well, then that frees up all that income, that revenue income that you don't want to be profit, that you can funnel into your frickin' programs.
Well, you could take that CEO's salary and divide it by 7, and everyone's making those 7 people are making $100,000 a year,
right?
Right? Like, honestly, I mean, it's kind of whatever. I mean, look, I didn't know. I mean, it's just the sad thing is this is what it's like everywhere. There is a lot. Yeah, there is a lot of just a lot of. I mean, I see it with what I work in, the way it's just scammed and money's wasted and put away. But it's kind of if a CEO is making that much money and then he's going out and begging us and we got to raise money, and then they don't care about losing members, and then you find out that asshole makes $758,000 a year, like $785 or $785. Kiss my ass, dude. Seriously, I'm not joining now just because of that alone, because that's outrageous. I figured a CEO would make like 150 for a nonprofit.
My membership is up for renewal. They keep sending me emails like, "Oh, renew now, renew now, renew now." Now, fuck you.
Raise your fist to the sky.
I'm right with you, Grouch. I'm right there with you. That's ridiculous.
Well,
and I would rather that money go to, like what I said at the last podcast. Like, let's have the ARRL help with the clubs. Give clubs money to help.
Oh, they do. They do.
How much money do they give our club?
So, our club has to actually want to be able to ask for it. And so that's the part of it. And that's kind of with every nonprofit. I mean, unless you ask for it or put in for a request to ask for it, then it's your own loss for not spending the time to do that. But, it's not a difficult process because I've kind of gone through it. And so, yes, we as a club, or any club for that matter, if you've got a club and you need to get funds, you can put a request in for that. And they'll, more than likely honor it because they want to be able to give back. And that's how they do it. But again, let me put the caveat that I understand that money is what ARDC is funneled into ARRL for ARRL to be able to then give away to the clubs. So it's not technically their money. It's technically ARDC's grant to them to be able to give to ARRL. And they do that twice a year.
They should, with that CEO with the $785,000, he should be funding every club in America's field day. Seriously,
could be his own club.
I mean, seriously. We all sit there and spend more money enjoying for field day than we do for our club dues.
Thank God ARRL does not have a private plane. Or we'd be really.
I'm sure they do. I wonder if Ryan's flying for them.
They don't.
ARRL just bought a Gulfstream. You sure?
Yeah, I did. I looked into it. As far as at least for what I could find, ARRL does not have its own plane.
I guarantee you that guy doesn't fly commercial. I bet you he flies a private jet.
Maybe. You never know. I'm sure
those people who make that much money, they don't fly with the rest of us. And I'm sure he flies first class if he does fly commercial. Because
I won't disagree with you. All right. Well, so it sounds like, obviously we could go in for a lot of.
Who is this guy name? What's his name?
It is Mitzner, Dave Mitzner.
Where does he live?
He's a ham. I don't know. Let's not put the address out there to cause this large uproar of
Paul, do it.
Protests on the ARRL CEO front lawn.
Can you imagine, man? That would be the demise of the
instead of like hamcation, it's like the ham protest.
It'll be like a few of those hams that decided to take a stand, and lo and behold, they are no longer hams any longer.
Everyone sets up antennas and that's on his front lawn.
Every time we submit our ARRL scores for our club, it's like,
okay,
no,
I want this guy. Sorry. I want this guy on our podcast. I'm going to ask him straight up. You really think it's? Yeah, I know, because he doesn't have the balls to do it.
Well,
the problem with those guys. Come on,
CEO stuff,
you make $784,000. We all paid for it.
All right, so let's throw out this challenge. Okay, so if we get to 1,000 subs on our YouTube channel. Right now we're at 380, I think, as we look at it, probably somewhere around there. if we get to 1,000 subs, and we'll throw this challenge out to you, and this is the only time you're going to hear it. If we get to 1,000 subs, we will do everything in our power to work on trying to get Mitzner to come on our, live stream, or not even so it's live, even on just a podcast. So
Just a recording, yeah.
It should be live stream, because then he'll probably get lawyers to say we can't have this on the
right.
air.
The lawyers will have to edit the audio stream of it, so in essence it might be edited and redacted. But
just put it out there live. Put him on the spot. So, Mr. $785,000 salary, why? Just explain why you think that's okay.
Well, nevertheless, all of the executive team too. I mean, the executive team, I think, does a lot behind closed doors, which a lot of folks like Rihanna and a few other YouTubers and hams that are out there that were part of the ARRL and definitely got to see the bad, dark side underbelly of it. All agree with us, and I think all have the same stance. I will continue to kind of support them just only on two premises, one being TI, because I believe that what, Good Game is doing there, he can't do without ARRL's help, because ARRL is a big powerhouse and they can get, they can direct the traffic to where they need to. And they've done a decent job with him and giving him the reins to do what he needs to do. But two, so I need somebody to lobby for us in, government entities. And if ARRL is even doing that a little bit, then okay, my $40 or $60 or whatever it is a small drop in the bucket. But yeah, okay. Yeah, so dude, I I'm not disagreeing with anything you guys said. I totally, fully 100% believe it's no longer needed. I think a lot of hams have been discussed in the same boat as you guys, feeling that, this is what's this organization do? It's just a slow moving ship that's doing absolutely nothing for the hobby. Although their claims that they say that they're making, inroads to, I still think that, they from a technologist perspective, I think they are 10 years behind and so slow. And I've heard, personal firsthand stories from folks that were inside the organization that like, this is just a big clusterfuck and it needs to be, burned to the ground and rebuilt and done right, because it's just been volunteers of volunteer stuff, and nothing's been really done well so that, it can stand the test of time and have longevity and improve and be able to scale for the demand and need. And so, yeah, it kind of sucks that this is where ARRL is today, but I think we kind of all knew that. Like, it's not new news. We all know that ARRL kind of is like, a big dumpster fire sometimes, and, very much old regime and old, leadership that just doesn't want to, make the change.
Wow.
So, all right. Well, how do we wrap this thing up? Like, this is, I don't think we can go anywhere except the fact that, any last one tidbit or, thing you want to kind of shed some light on that, we haven't talked about that, might want to bring to attention, or, we add our piece at this point.
Well, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to find out how much, look at, I don't care if you work for an agency, even a customer service rep, like $35,000 in 2025 is, you're pretty much on welfare. Like you need assistance. So if you got that person working, talking to people like us who are the members, and you got a CEO that makes almost $1 million a year, that money, some of his money should be going down to those customer service reps so they can at least have a salary that they can live on. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. There shouldn't be anyone in this organization that doesn't have money.
It's a hobby, for God's sakes. It's not a job.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. So if someone is doing, even if it's a full-time job, right? They have a full-time job with benefits and they're making $35,000 a year, and the CEO is making that much, he should be ashamed of himself. He should take, $100,000, $200,000 of that $700,000 and split it up among the lowest paid people so they can at least live.
Yeah. Yeah, volunteers, pay them, what their value at. Yeah, exactly. Those that have been giving tirelessly in the organization for volunteer.
Yeah, I just hate.
I won't fault like travel expenses,
Yeah.
right? So for those that have to go to, ham fests and they represent the organization, like 100%, that should be an organizational cost to cover the travel expenses for those people to go and promote the organization. But I don't know that you need, 80 to $100,000 a year in travel expenses on top of your exorbitant salary.
Yeah. Yep. Unless that's already built into his salary, and we don't know personally, but it's not transparent enough, and that's one of my biggest points. Like, if I knew exactly how his salary broke down, then I'd be able to justify that, but I can't, because I assume he's just taking all that home.
Yeah, well, and of course, so there's a lot on the dumpster fire of QRZ forums. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole,
God,
I mean,
don't.
a quick Google search will send you down that rabbit hole.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no, there's a lot there about how different compensation for this, that, and the other thing. And I sent Todd a link because one of in the forum conversation they were
I didn't
talking
click
about
on those. Once I said the QRZ
the
in the
AMA.
link, I said, like, I'm gonna hold off. It might crash my system.
Yeah, no, but it's the the mobile aeronautical whatever fucking
Right.
Todd does there with the
AMA.
RC planes. Yeah. Like I said, nonprofits have this problem where I get it. Like, you can't show a profit. And so if you don't have a program that you can push that money into, then, well, it just gets built
Salaries
into
are it.
operating expense, right? Because
Mhm.
you got to use that money. Well, I'm sorry, but there should be somebody that is saying, hey, you know what? Instead of boosting the freaking operating expenses again this year, why don't we cut the operating expenses and put more into the Teachers Association, put more into scouting, put more into, getting youth involved in radio?
Yep.
Because, like I said, that's the future. That's where your focus needs to be.
Good point. Yep.
Do with that
I
what
agree.
you will, ARRL.
Our small little podcast that we are. If you're actually listening, I'd be very surprised. But anyway, all good. So, let's carry this conversation on. I'm curious to see what our listeners think here in the Northeast here, because we are a unique people group here in the Northeast. I can tell, I've been here all my life. I know exactly how people think about when you mention the words ARRL, or you start talking about, clubs or whatever, when it comes to like giving your money, the folks in the Northeast want to be able to get value out of that. And I don't think ARRL currently is doing that. I mean, obviously from these guys and, what I've thrown in here, we all kind of are on the same page. So, what's your thoughts? You head over to our Discord, check out the show link. We'll have this posted there. Let us know what you think about the ARRL. What's your firsthand experience? If you have anything, if you got any insider baseball stuff, feel free to share it. But ultimately, this is just a polite conversation. Let me say that, in essence, I am not looking to raise the pitchforks. I'm not looking to light the torches. In essence, that's going to require a lot more of a, refined, intentional movement to be able to get the ARRL to change their attitude and their mentality, because, I don't know about you, but us Gen X generation, we're tired of this bullshit. Move on.
Well, and you got to be transparent. And, if this guy or this administration refuses to go on to social media and podcasts and talk about it and be legit about answering questions, I mean, I'd love to know what this guy thinks he deserves that much money when he's got the people who make on welfare. What's his where does he think that's okay? And then why did he think he needed to raise the dues? And why did he care about losing members? Because eventually what will happen is, people will just stop joining, and then he won't have and I'm not saying the ARRL, it's an organization that has so much potential, but if you get greedy idiots running it, and you're not moving along with the times, and you're not, I'm with Paul, throw the money into the education and getting kids involved with it and making ham radio known again, and not just be sitting back and buying flex radios for your volunteers. I mean, it's great that they're doing that, But I mean, seriously, like, give me a break.
Yep. I mean, ARRL should be very much lockstep with a lot of the other clubs that like create QRP kits to be able to build and encourage the whole electronics industry and moving of that forward.
The other thing too is, this guy's making that much money. Like, why are they charge shipping? Like, you want to get some stickers, they charge you fucking like $10 for shipping. It's like,
we bought ARRL stickers. What's wrong with you?
Well, field day or whatever. I bought a whole bunch. When I bought like a T-shirt, it was like,
wow.
Oh, you got to pay. You buy this. What?
Dude, you should be supporting our club then. Buy a freaking, club specific shirt and you'll go to our club to help us further our hammer.
I do. I got like 2 T-shirts, a hat, I got a couple mugs.
Giving you shit.
Yeah. But I'm saying is like, I mean, it just makes me more, it makes me even more mad. Like I figured it was like, maybe there's like 5 employees and everyone was volunteers and that's what we were doing.
No, they've got a big bankroll.
Yeah. Well, not from this guy anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, sounds good, my friend.
I'm with you there, Paul.
Let's put a bow on this tonight. Obviously you heard our passionate desire to make sure the ARRL stays lockstep with the current times and going into the future, because we all know that, all of us are getting older. We're growing, we're thinking about like, what's our legacy? Who's going to be carrying that legacy forward? And then who's going to be supporting us in the larger, global landscape. So, ARRL, if you're not listening now, rewind, listen to what's going on here and start making some change, and make the effort, because I think it's going to pay off in the long run. And you're going to see that you're going to create a legacy for yourself instead of a name that's like, oh man, he collected $100,000, or $785,000 in salary versus like what he actually did to make the ARRL better. So, all right, well, I won't say any last words because I think we got everything out there. I appreciate you guys, talking on this heated topic, because it was one of those things that I felt was pretty passionate, like last episode, and we needed to definitely put some attention. But now that Paul brought up the whole club thing, now I'm like that hits a little note for me. So we're gonna have to talk about that next episode, because I've been watching those videos, I've been paying attention, thinking, I don't fully buy into what you're doing, but at the same time, I still think we should improve. But anyway, with that, so let's kind of wrap this up. So as always, again, thanks again for joining Live Free and Ham. We appreciate all of those folks that are part of the community there and help support us both through donations, through our swag, through just listening to the episode and being subscribers on our YouTube channel. But yeah, we truly appreciate everyone, and we thank everybody for being part of the show. And we say, we're looking forward to a 2025 year and some awesome stuff going on. So we hope that you're going to be along for the ride, and we hope to hear from you more. And so if you want to connect with us, you can always head over to our Discord server. And again, that link is in our website. So you can just head over to livefreeandham.com and click the link at the bottom of the site there and join our Discord. Hang out with us, be part of this conversation. We'll have this in our show's channel section, and we'll, want to hear from you. What do you think about the ARRL, and, what are they doing? Are they doing anything that you think is positive, or are they just all a big giant dumpster fire and we just need to trash it and restart from the beginning? And you can always, like I said, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Catch all the awesomeness over there. You can always watch us live, watch us there. All of our shows are all streamed there as well with every podcast release. And you can always leave us a review, or you can comment, or you can, share a question. You can do whatever using our SMS link located in all of our show notes, or you can leave us a voicemail at 978-233-1142. And you can always support the show. If you want to help support the show, again, you can join us on Patreon and catch all of our great pre-releases and all of the stuff that our Patreon members get as being subscribers, or you can buy us a beer for a one-time thing. And don't forget, if you want to see Paul finally get his Class A license, head over, the link is in our description there, click that click that what the heck is it?
GoFundMe
link. Thank you. Click that GoFundMe link. Help support Paul because we're trying to do that. We want to see him get his Class A license. It's a lot of cash, guys. You know, we all know that, you know, as hams, we try to do our best to be able to, you know, use what resources we have. But we want to see Paul get his Class A license because freaking A. One of us might actually have the balls to want to tandem jump with him. I won't say who, but I keep mentioning, you know, it might be me. But anyway, we want to see Paul get his license there because we want to do a lot more, radio contacts from, Air Parachute Mobile there. So, it's just mostly selfish, in our case. But hopefully Paul doesn't mind, I'm sure. And finally, you can head over to livefreeandham.com to learn about the show, check our latest swag, and find all of our host contact info there. And as always, thanks for listening. And from all of us at Live Free Ham, 7-3. And Paul, roll that awesome intro. Or, I don't know, what do you want to call it? We're going to call it something.
Live free and ham, you know you can. Join the fun, be the biggest fan. Call that number and lend an ear. Live free and ham, it's crystal clear. From morning blues to midnight snack, they've got the scoop, never looking back. Stories, news, and quirky bits, it's the